You have a great.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello. How's it going today?
Good, good. How are you, sir?
It's going really good. Thank you for taking time out and doing the interview in my Grew Room show.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Definitely, yes. So, like the first thing I want to start out asking you is that yeah, I see you've had like a lot of different roles, and what drew you to want to do this role and this show?
Oh, well, that's a pretty easy one. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger in a Nick Santora show with Dana Goldberg. I mean, like, that was a real easy decision, that one. I was like, yeah, absolutely. Do you want to do this? Absolutely. Yeah, let's do this. I mean, what more? I'm an 80s baby, so yeah, this one
Yeah.
was really easy for me, mate.
Yeah, like I seen like you've worked with so many different like big stars, some the action stars from like Bruce Willis and John Claude Van Damme. You even worked with the Freddy Krueger.
That's right. At the moment, I'm having this thing of like, somebody get me Sylvester Stallone, and then I'll have collected all of the 80s, 90s icons I grew up with. So
Hey, you never know. Sly is probably next. I mean, you got
I,
Arnold, so I mean, Sly.
it's got to happen. It's got to happen. I'm putting it into the universe, and I need this to happen.
Exactly. Yeah. So for anyone who don't know about the show yet, can you tell us a little bit about the show and the character you play?
Sure. Well, it's called Fubar. It's going to drop on Netflix on May 25th. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger's first TV show, I believe, unless I've got that wrong, but I think it's his first ever TV show. And
It
man,
definitely
it's
is.
a cracker, action comedy. And the bit I love about it is actually the comedy is in it as well. So it's epic. Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger plays like he's about to retire, doing one last job as a CIA, a secret CIA operative. He's hiding it from his family, but unbeknownst to Arnold, his daughter is also CIA and keeping it a secret. And they find out about each other, and mayhem ensues, comedic mayhem ensues. So I mean, it's as fun as it sounds. And I get to play a bad guy. I'm one of the first face-offs for Arnold in the show, setting the theme about the sort of unsavory types that he deals with, sort of in some scenes set in Amsterdam. So, yeah, it's good fun. I have 5 pages of things from Netflix that I'm not allowed to tell you about the show. So it's a massive list of things. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize this was going to be homework. Yeah, but so I believe that's what I can say.
Okay, that works. So, like you say, you play one of the bad guys, the villains, and you get to actually do a scene and with with him with
That's right. Yeah, I mean,
Arnold. And I mean, growing up, you say you're a huge fan of that era, like with Arnold and Sly and John Claude Van Damme and all them. Like, how was it like for you as like a big fan to be doing a scene with Arnold and fighting in them?
oh yeah, I mean, it's everything. It's everything I hoped it would be, to be honest. So on the day, I mean, leading up to these things is a lot. Like, you have to audition for these things, and rehearsals and costume fittings and all. And like, when we rehearsed, Arnold wasn't here; he was in California. So we would rehearse like on Zoom, a bit like we're kind of doing right now. And but you're like, at some point, you're like blowing yourself. Like, I'm gonna Zoom, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's here. This is epic. But then eventually you get to the actual day, and you're filming, and Arnold, he's right sitting in front of me. That's one of the great things about it. So it's I don't know. It's as epic as it was. There was like zero disappointment for me in the whole thing. I was like, yes. I mean, the whole thing was pretty exciting, to be honest. So, yeah, for me, there was no disappointing things in it. It was exactly as I thought it was going to be, and I mean that in a kind of wonderful sense of like, well, yeah. I mean, it was cool. Sorry, I'm just fixing my.
Wow. Yeah, that must have been so amazing. Like, I'm even a fan of all those guys. Like I grew up with Arnold and Terminator and Sylvester Stallone with Rocky, and so yeah, like just and John Claude Van Damme with Bloodsport and Kickboxer and all that stuff. Oh my
Yeah.
God, yeah.
No, it's great fun. I mean, like, it doesn't. It's only a small bit of the job, sort of. But it's a man. It's those are the days that are very. It's very easy to be an actor.
Oh my God, yeah, definitely. And how was the set like? Like how was like working on set with everyone else and
You know
you
what?
know
He
all
Arnold Schwarzenegger had a lot of time for people. He said hello, good morning to everybody. Like, and when they get to that level of fame, obviously that he's had for many years or decades even, you think he doesn't have to do all that. He doesn't have to be nice. He doesn't have to be patient with people. He can, but he is. And I don't know that that's nicer for me that he's like that. Sort of he doesn't feel the need to sort of flex how important he is. Everybody knows how important he is. And he was very honestly very giving actor. And the set was nice. Nick Ventura Santora is like a genius. Like he and Dana Goldberg. These guys have CVs that are incredible. So to just be able to work alongside these guys to do their show is epic. So for them, sort of Arnold Schwarzenegger's first TV show must be super. If they're not as excited as I am, then they should be.
I know, right? Exactly. So, I, I mean, is there any scene like I know you're not allowed to say a lot, but
I'm
is
not. Yeah, sorry. So if I tell you too much, Netflix actually send somebody to my house and kill me. That's the sort of CIA world that we're mixing in. I'm afraid now. So
well, I would guess like your scene you had the most fun shooting was actually with Arnold.
yeah, for sure. I mean, that was. I mean, it's a scene where we're sort of negotiating a little bit, but obviously he's undercover. He's getting like. He's got one of these secret earpieces in, and he's in touch with his CIA team. So it's yeah, I mean, it's super fun to be the bad guy that's unaware that Arnold's probably going to kill him in a minute. Sort of that's super fun to be in that position because it's just it's good. So, but
Oh my
you get to be the bad guy facing off against Arnold Schwarzenegger. Not many people get to do that.
I know, right? Exactly. That's awesome. And
Believe me.
was there was there any funny or cool stories from the set?
Uh, I was only there for a brief time, so only in the first episode of this. So I wasn't there for the whole time. And with all the glorious locations that they went to, Simon got to film in a warehouse in Toronto. I didn't get to go to any of these fancy beach locations or Argentina or anywhere exciting like that. Like the rest of the cast, they just stuck Simon in Toronto. So, but you know what? I got a one-on-one scene with Arnold Schwarzenegger, so it was worth every minute.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's well worth it than going to the beaches, right?
yeah.
And and I'm a really big horror fan, and I saw you've done like so many horror films. Is there any horror film you you've done that you had the most fun with?
I did a movie were called Nights Before Christmas and Once Upon a Time at Christmas, which was like where I played a horror, like a serial killer Santa Claus, and that was a lot of fun. I really did enjoy that. So yeah, that one was super fun for me. I would recommend that to anybody that's a bit of a horror fan. It's like it was something totally different, but it was fun as an actor. I had like my face half burnt and like
Yeah.
half blind sort of stuff with an axe, going around killing people. So yeah, it was that was good fun.
I saw that too,
Oh,
and
you saw that
your
one?
oh my God, yeah, like your version of Santa Claus was really creepy. It definitely wouldn't want the kids to have Santa come down the chimney after seeing that.
No, yeah. It's a very different Santa Claus movie. Not exactly family friendly, but yeah, we did a couple of those ones. We're gonna do a third one. So yeah, there's one
No,
more coming up. So yeah, for anyone that likes
oh
it.
no, I see me. I love like Christmas horror films. They're so much fun.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're a lot of fun. So I think the key thing about it is not to take it too seriously. Like horror's always got that thing. It's a slight wink and a nudge to the camera. Like it's slightly ridiculous what's going on. So I mean that's just whatever. That's what you got to do.
Exactly. And like, what are some of your all-time favorite action films since you're you're working with Arnold, you're in a television series that has to do with action. So what are some of your action films?
Thinking about Fubar and this one, I can't not think about True Lies as well. I know they made a separate TV
Yes.
show of that one, but True Lies is like that fun action thing. Arnold in it. I mean, just just epic sort of thing. James Cameron he just knows some stuff, doesn't he? Sort of. But yeah, that seems super fun. So yeah, one of my favorites definitely. But I mean, I like all those ones. The Die Hards, the Predators. All of those movies are the sort of things that I grew up on. So when I'm lucky enough to do scenes with Bruce Willis, sort of I'm like, I'm doing a scene with John McClane. This is great, sort of, or Schwarzenegger. This is yeah. I mean, it's just epic.
Oh my God, yeah, definitely, definitely. And and when you aren't auditioning for films and fighting Arnold, like what do you like doing during your free time?
Well, I just do this really. All day long, sort of. So eat, leave, breathe, film. Sort of. So if I'm not directly involved in one of these shows or one of these big mega shows, I'm doing other productions like horror movies or independent
Mhm.
films or something like that. Sort of. So we just wrapped on another horror movie called De-Influencer. People should go check that out. That's online now. It's on the first one. We just wrapped on the sequel, and we're just about to start production on a third one. So it's called De-Influencer, De Influencer, and it's out. It's a cool concept about social media horror. So yeah, people should check that one out. I'm very proud of that one, and I'm excited about the next coming couple of films for that, as we've got a bit of a big story going on there.
Wow, okay. I'm definitely gonna watch that.
Good.
And what about like what kind of songs do you like? Like what's on your playlist?
Music one. Well, so I'm British, so it's I'm British and I'm like 80s, 90s kind of. So I'm sort of Oasis, rock and roll a little bit. That's my vibe there. Though, although I like the Lumineers, I'm that sort of way of music, so guitar based, I guess, stuff like that. You know, uh, but yeah, it's a bit more British in taste for anybody else.
Nice, nice. And is there any like band that you would love to see live, like band artist?
Live bands. Geez, let me think. The Lumineers, I suppose, are ones that at the moment I would love to see. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I suppose Lumineers. They would seem like a good live band. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not music. Isn't must be honest, is not my forte. I know what I like, sort of type thing. But I wouldn't describe myself as a big music fan in general. I'm more of a film. But like, if I have a night out, I want to go to the theater or I want to go see movies. Stuff like that. Sort of. I'm a bit more that way inclined than the other way.
Oh, okay, okay, nice. What kind of play do you like? Like, is there a
Like,
certain play you saw?
no, not really. Sort of anything I like Les Mis or something, So I don't mind to go and see musicals or something like that. Sort of is I find that all quite entertaining in theatre. I just like to watch it live.
Nice.
Watch Shakespeare stuff, sort of for theatre stuff. But any play is very exciting, sort of. So it's always good to go and see that and refresh yourself a little bit in it.
Oh, yeah. Nice. And is there any superhero or villain that you like the most? Like, do you follow any like Marvel and DC and all that?
I don't. I've seen a lot of these movies, but I don't know if I have a favorite one. I mean, I grew up on Superman, obviously, but like everybody, I'm a Superman rather than a Batman. Sort of people have that sort of divide. I'm Star Wars, sort of Star Trek. Kind of like those sort of science fictiony things. But Marvel movies wise, I mean, I mean, I saw Endgame. So that was for me was a great highlight. They wrapped that up very nicely.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's some of those things, but I think they're slightly oversaturated now. I think there's a lot of those ones coming out that they're doing the sort of lesser known Marvel characters now, like ones you're like what you haven't heard of so much. But I suppose that's good because they can't keep doing the big ones. But I think they've had a good run of like 10 years of doing what used to be very geeky films are now we're now very mainstream films. Sort of Thor. and all the Captain America and Iron Man and all that. They now became very mainstream. So, but yeah, that's. I mean, that was epic. One of the biggest movies I enjoyed last year was A Quiet Place. I don't know if you saw that one.
That was really good. Yes,
Yeah. So,
yes.
and then they did a sequel. I believe they're doing a part two. Sort of. So I'm excited. Part three. Sorry, they did a part two, and they did a part three,
Yeah,
but I'm excited to
part
see
two's
that.
been out. Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. Those are some really good films. I like those films a lot.
good, good. Yeah, that would get my recommendation all day long.
Like, and what about food? Like, what kind of food do you like most? Like, if you're going out to eat, what would be
Um,
the
I'm
place?
British, right? So British people like Indian food. Actually, I believe it or not, that's
Oh,
our most
really?
popular meal. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. That's yeah. That's Indian curry. So yeah,
Oh, wow.
That's our number one meal on these things. So that's what I would do all day long if I could. That's what I mean. It's probably not good for you, but it's my favorite meal.
Okay. And what about your drink of choice if you were out at a bar? Like, what would be your drink of choice?
A booze drink. I think it would be vodka. So I'd have a vodka and Diet Coke. I'm a liquor person, so not a. I don't I don't drink beer. Sort of. Yeah, vodka. Vodka's the spirit for sure.
Nice. And are there any television shows you're currently watching, binging?
I was just binging Yellowstone. I don't know if you've seen that one, Kevin Costner. I think it's epic. I really do love. I really do love that show, but it's in the middle. I don't know if you've seen it or anything, but it's good. What you should definitely watch it if you haven't seen it.
Okay. Okay. Definitely watch that and the show that you're going to be in.
Yes, the show I'm going to be in. Yeah, yeah, Fubar. So Fubar drops on Netflix on May 25th.
May 25th, which is coming up real soon.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good fun. So I can't
Yeah,
wait for people to see it. It's a legendary Arnold Schwarzenegger, Nick Santora, Dana Goldberg, sort of doing great stuff behind the camera. But yeah, it's his first ever TV show, so I'm so lucky to be a part of it. Like I can't wait for people to see it. To be honest.
definitely. Well, the last thing I want to ask you is where can fans follow you at?
Oh, could you get people to go to Instagram and follow me on Simon Phillips actor, which is on Instagram.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking time out and doing the show, and I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to seeing the series.
No problem. Thanks for having me, mate.
Thank you.